Welcome back everyone to our continuing adventures on the Let's Defend platform. Today we are tackling underneath the SOC Analyst Path, the latest and only case that's been updated, not a complaint, for May 29th, 2023, 1:01 p.m., that of SOC202 Fake GPT Malicious Chrome Extension. Event ID is 153, type is data leakage. So this looks like this whacked the Samuel workstation. And it looks like, yeah, suspicious extension added to the browser. But thankfully we have hash, so. Typical analysis start point. Let's grab the hash and let's run it through some things and see what shakes out. So Talos is still evaluating. OTX for Alien Vault doesn't have anything. Virus total, nada. And this is a updated analysis. I dumped it into integer, and that says it's trusted. Again, going by the hash that was provided. Well, the interesting thing is harvest information related to installed mail clients. As in, it just kind of looks to see as to whether or not. Yeah, okay. Malware Bazaar did not have anything. CRX Excavator does have it in there with a almost 400 risk score going all the way across over time. Yeah, I'm not really worried about actually installing it, but thanks for trying to be helpful. And apparently that's there. The icon matched. Updated May 29th, which is the, yes, same day. So it's there. We don't have anything else basically going through and flagging anything. And we got into some interesting aspects. So Chrome stats. Supposedly the extension was removed from the Chrome store on May 22nd due to malware. Of course, the problem is, looking at this, I do not see a supplied hash. Although the name matches up, we've got the same type of logo that if we take a look here, yes, that all matches up. Although the developer, chatgptfor-google.com, and then what we end up here is by Gumisoft. Now this popped up by doing a Google search for the actual name of the file, not the hash. So in order to get that result, I did a Google search for this .crx file. So we've got a couple of different pieces of information that don't quite line up. I mean, it would be nice here as to whether or not if they gave us the hash of the particular version. Although supposedly, Chrome Stats actually apparently has the file itself. At least that they're talking about. 1.16.6, and if we look at this one, the version numbers are wildly off. So it's entirely possible that we're looking at just somebody that tried to cash in on the GPT craze that seems to be taking everybody by storm. And going through, because obviously we need to try to now connect the dots for this particular aspect. This says this was removed from the Chrome store, but yet here's the Chrome Webstore. This is still here. Different publisher name as that sits through. I mean, realistically, I guess it depends as to what we're actually going through with this and how this would basically be viewed from a accepted use policy perspective. Okay, Samuel, what is it you do here at Let's Defend? Why do you need to sit there and interact with ChatGPT? Are you a developer of some kind? Has the organization gone through and updated the accepted use policy to cover things like JAPI or large language models or quote unquote AI? That's kind of the question. But let's just kind of take a look at all this particular stuff as we let this stuff load. And yes, I realize that the video may be, or the webcam may be a bit choppy. OBS seems to have grown larger and is consuming more processor than what I'm used to seeing. Well, that seems like that started after we jumped into the version 29.1, but I may also have a setting throttled way too high. But that's fine, we'll deal with that. Okay, so we are looking for Samuel. Well, it didn't really narrow it down as much as I was hoping it was going to. Right down at the bottom. Windows 10. That's right, they updated all this. To make it look closer to an actual EDR platform. Freaking nice. Okay, so it looks like system was booting up as we work our way through. Your typical Windows processes as things go through. Go back to the first page. We get Explorer. We get, okay, we're doing open with. So we can imply from that that they were browsing the local file system, utilizing explorer.exe, as anybody on Windows does. And they're trying to open up something. Okay, so they're opening the CRX file with Chrome. Very next step. Although usually with most of these type of EDR aspects, you would actually get a process tree as well, so as to whether or not, if you're more of the visual type, it makes it that much easier because, okay, so you can see Explorer, open with, and then it comes down again. Wait, I should probably do that in reverse here because the way that the camera's up, so you get Explorer, and then you get the open with, and you get Chrome, and then anything else that would be subprocesses down the way it goes. But no, this is still a step up over everything else, over the way that it was. I kind of wish I didn't have to be zoomed in so far. And then of course we have the typical, okay, so we still go back to Explorer, we're going through, we got the scheduled task to update Windows Defender. Oh, so put it all on the same page then by that point, okay? Network actions, what do you got for me? Let's go back and find our so we're looking for roughly 1301. So then the closest thing we get is some of these other IPs that would be after the fact. So let's just for giggles. Let's just see if there's any available like threat intel regarding the IPs that show up. Just out of an abundance of caution. We've only got 3. Now obviously if this was like a ginormous list, you probably wouldn't go through and spend the time. Cloud provider, Amazon, certificate ssl.default.laddypage.vn. Okay, it seems a little bit sus even though it's whitelisted. Talos catch up yet? Yeah, it did, except I've already grabbed the other one. Okay, Talos, what can you tell us about this one? Oh, if you go through, and I would love to hear from the community at large. Do you use Talos Intelligence? If you do, have you noticed this as well? It seems like the maybe past couple of days to weeks, it seems like it's taking a lot longer to get stuff going through. I don't know as to whether or not if maybe more people have discovered this and they're going through and using it, or if Talos themselves, the infrastructure here is under some sort of like DDoS or attack or something else along those lines. No established categories, but still directed for Amazon. Okay, and then do we have anything that went to Sam around that time? Assuming it would just be Samuel at Let's Defend. No, okay, so we can close that. Threat intel. Has there been any sort of... Oh wow, this got updated. Didn't it? I swear this got updated. Okay, well let's use the built-in threat intel platform that they provide us with. Why not? Okay, not much there that stands out. So let's grab the next one just to make sure. Another one, Amazon, Singapore. Yeah, direct portion to Amazon. I mean, the organization's paying for the threat intelligence, so let's make use of it. Nada. And then what does this one translate to? Google. Yep, and this is just spinning. IDS detections for this particular IP address. Ear sniff. CNC beacon. So I guess the bigger portion is, okay, let's take a look. No terminal history. What we got for browser history? Chat, open AI at 10. Okay, so this is reversed order again. Okay, so Chrome Webstore. Yeah, so this is different. So let's see, if we try to actually go, since we now have the URL for the Chrome store, booyah. So then the best assumption would be it is off the Chrome store. So the difference in developers, everything else like that, does play a role, the difference in version numbers. And the fact that the store is entirely down now that we've worked it back. It looks like they got a C. Okay, so if we do this ourselves, does this tell us that, hey, there's a problem with this? Hey, that we've identified malware and you may want to sit there and double check? Oh, it just takes us to what about the warning itself? Maybe default activity when you just download a CRX and then try to load it in. Everything I do is always through the web store, so that tracks. And it looks like it translates to the same exact thing. 638. Yeah, I think that's roughly it. And then extensions, and then it loads it, and then then he goes to the chat, and then he authenticates. Oh. Okay, so log management. Show me everything from Samuel. Only one page. All on the 29th. And it's technically 101. So Chrome. Hey, look, we have a DNS query. chatgptforgoogle.pro. Google.org. Chrome.google. Chrome.google. Workers.dev. Okay, so this looks awfully, awfully sus just from that particular aspect alone. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pause this quick, take this table, grab the results, basically dump it in there. But given the fact that we are seeing extremely odd domains, so like the first one, so we take this, nothing here, pop that in there. Duplicate the tab because I want to keep this around. It's like, so if we ask the security vendors about the website, what do they have to say? like bad, added to a block list, nuke it from orbit, untrusted web reputation, Singapore. So that would explain probably the hits we were seeing to the Amazon IP addresses in Singapore. Is classified as malicious and added to a block list. Okay, we are getting the full story now. Yep, okay, so and it's blocking the particular aspects, so I'm willing to bet that the rest of these will end up showing up as relatively the same, but I'm gonna have to basically just on the back end grab the details because obviously we're gonna probably want to kick this to IR and go from that particular aspect. So just the fact that we've got these particular aspects, even though, and here's the interesting thing, that virus total, none of the AVs have flagged in the slightest at this, but we're seeing enough of this weird activity that I have I mean, and if I have to beg for forgiveness afterwards, fine. Yes, contain it. At the very least, it definitely is or should involve additional follow-up. I would think that the fact that we've got logs that show a bunch of requests at the time that that extension was installed, that it was communicating with now known malicious URLs, the fact that the where he got it from, the web store itself was taken down due to being malware as recorded by that, what was it, Chrome stats. The fact that we can find something with roughly the same name, same icon, but from an entirely different developer with a different version number. This looks bad. I mean, not like ransomware in the environment and, oh crap, we haven't done a backup in 2 years, bad. But I think definitely enough to warrant going through, isolating the workstation, and kicking it to IR. Be like, actually, would we actually have to go through and do that? I suppose it depends as to where the cutoff point would be for the organization. Okay, we've got what looks to be a malicious detection. I suppose probably a ping to them. It's like, hey, listen, I'm working on this case. Here's what we got. You guys interested at all? Just to take a look. Otherwise, we're just going to go through and nuke and pave. They could find it interesting enough, the fact that it's an actual malicious browser extension. But I would think at this particular point, okay, we're going to isolate, we're going to nuke and pave, we're going to talk to the end user in regards to, hey, you know, any of this chat GPT stuff, you want to screw around with it on your own time, on your own workstation, that is fine. But we don't want any sort of our information going out to the large language models. Just because of the fact that they store the responses and what you give them. So it's just basically another data broker. So, okay, I've got to go through and put together the log source from log management to tell the story in regards to this. So I'm going to pause this and then we will pick right back up of taking ownership and working our way down the chain on this. So 1 second. Okay, got that done. So I'm going to bring in what we've got, and we will quickly work our way down as an explanation as to what's there. Okay, so we're going to go straight text as opposed to just showing the stuff on there. So thank God for Sysmon. So the what is it? It was 101 at the time this thing kicked off? Yeah, 101. So 101, minute later, we have a query to the www.chatgptforgoogle.pro, it being answered along with the destination, which I think was the Singaporean Amazon IP that we had. Then we get www.chatgptgoogle.org. I think that was another one that was the Singaporean Amazon. And then basically it looks like we just start getting aspects for Google Chrome. And then we get another one, so 2 minutes now after the installation of that CRX file into Chrome for version.chatgptforgoogle.workers.dev. And it looks like that one gives us a 172.67.143.243, which I believe was Google. No, it was a 172.217.17. Okay, so that's the one above. So this one for actual Google. So that one's perfectly fine. And then I've got it pulled up on the other side. The 18, yes, that's confirmed. And 52.76.101, yep, okay. And that's confirmed underneath the network actions. So let me take notepad capture off, translate over, and that's where I'm doing the confirmation back underneath the endpoint security network action. Going through that particular aspect. So yes, it tried to reach out to at least one domain that we know is terrible. So of course then the follow-up would be, so that is the ChatGPT Google. And we're just going to go through and duplicate some tabs. So did that? Yeah, so DGA domain, FakeGPT. Try to get these stacked properly, maybe. Wait for that to load up. But yeah, I think we've done enough digging to do verification that, I mean, I would think that this should be enough. More than enough to be able to have a adequate defense of the actions that we've taken and that we will take. So we've done the quarantine. The next portion would be recommend nuke and pave, password rotation, and probably a reminder about acceptable use policy and screwing around on production systems with browser add-ons that have not been approved by someone to go through and do some sort of analysis, even if it's something as simple as dump it into VirusTotal. Although, obviously, as we've seen, VirusTotal is not a panacea for everything. No engines whatsoever. Not a dang thing. Not a dang thing. But yeah, so more spyware and malware, media sharing, yeah, so bad stuff all the way across for the domains themselves. So we're going to leave that open because this will be a particular aspect that we will want to relay up in the event that IR wants to get involved. So we've got the timeline, we've got the results for, okay, decent number of vendors. It's not just one or two. I mean, at least here we're talking, okay, 11 for both of them. And that's as of 3 months ago. I don't really know if I want to go through and refresh it and possibly expire data. Oh, creation date 3 months ago. Last analysis date 9 days ago. Okay, so yeah, close enough. A little over a week old. But remember, we're also trying to approach this like it is May 29th, sometime after 1 p.m. that we are responding to this, as opposed to what it really is right now, June 24th. And then there's obviously the browser history tells us a perfect story, actually. So I'll have to include that in the notes when I go through and do this particular aspect. Because I've got a running notes.txt that kind of breaks down the analysis. It helps when I have others that are going through and doing this stuff ask questions so I can kind of remind myself as to what the scenario was, as opposed to just give them outright or direct information. Because I know a lot of people will either watch this and follow along, or they will go through and try it themselves. And, if they run into a question, or something that they don't quite understand, they may reach out. So I think we have enough to take ownership. Yes, I'm sure. Oh, I think I was going through and redoing that one. Whoops. Start the playbook. Define. Oh boy, define the threat indicator. Well, this was a trigger reason. Suspicious extension added to the browser. I mean, granted, the network traffic, internet traffic, is part of the aspect that helped with the analysis in this case. But I'm going to have to say other because that's what kicked everything off. It was not quarantined as device action was allowed. And here comes the rub. For the extension itself, nothing says it's malicious. But, as we've effectively already covered, it was removed from the Chrome store due to being malicious, regardless of the fact of what VT says. And it effectively immediately after, or shortly thereafter, we're talking minutes as opposed to hours, started talking to domains that at least 11 out of 88 different security vendors have a problem with. So I'm going to say malicious. Now we need to see as to whether or not if anybody else. So go back to log management. And so we are looking for, did anybody else have hits to 52, 76, 101, 142, or 124? And as a refresher, Samuel's address is 172.16.17.173. 173, 173, 173, 173. Okay, so nobody else tried to reach out to the chatgptforgoogle.pro. Okay, it actually gave us a few other ones as well. in the response to. So basically I'm pulling that from here, the query results. So we got the IPv6 and then we have the IPv4 address. So just out of an abundance of caution, I'm just going to check all of them. And again, 172.16.17.173. And then the other one we ended up with is 18.140.645. Samuel, Samuel, Samuel. Okay, so nobody else reached out to the chatgptforgoogle.pro. And now we go back and we're going to double check our work for chatgptgoogle.org. It looks like the only thing that's different is the requests came back for the same 52.76.101.124 that we've already looked for, and the 3.1.17.18. So we do end up with a new address of 18.146.40. Oh no, it was okay. So they're basically just same IPs. So then the question is, okay, so if someone, yeah, Samuel, he was hit. We've already done the containment, and now we add the artifacts. So we are going to end up with one MD5 hash, even though nothing in there picks it up as malicious, but that's okay. CRX file. Then we're going to end up with what, 3 IP addresses that we've gone through and looked at, and then 2 domains. Okay, so then obviously the IPs first in order raising up. So 3.1, 17, 18, 18, 140, 645, and then ending in, and that is going to be, yeah, C2. At least that's the best guess. Okay, and then we have the other ones. So we have chatgptforgoogle.pro. That's the first one that got hit. And then our next one is chatgptgoogle.org. And this is why I go through and copy. Oh, I take that back. We almost made an oopsie. We need 2 more. Or 3 more? 3 more. And you're like, wait, why 3? Because we're not done. As we go further down the chain, we get hit with the other particular aspects of the version chatgptforgoogle.workers.dev. And then that opens up the other aspect too. We now need to search for these 2 IP addresses. 16.17.173 comes back in the resolving. And then the other one, 172.16.17.173, all the way across. So there we go. That should build out everything that we need from this particular aspect, considering the fact there was no email. And nobody else hit it but Samuel. Let's see. User opened malicious CRX file with Chrome to add it to the browser. We then see in a span of minutes DNS requests for flagged fake GPT domains and for DNS and for IP connections to Singapore, Amazon, right? DGA, DGA. All in regards to that particular aspect results to 3, running web server. Questionable, but not, expired. So it might have been on a blacklist and then went off because it's no longer active or valid. Okay, what else we have? Although the pro address is blocked by Talos or on their block list. So, okay. System has been queued and should be nuked and paved. User creds rotated out of an abundance of caution. And you accepted use AUP? Accepted use policy reviewed by the user Samuel. Oh, and if I was something else besides SOC analyst, more like a security administrator, I would probably go through and sign them up for some extra phishing and security awareness training, just because I've been told I've been an asshole like that. You might be like, well, okay, but why the password rotation? We don't know what else was in his web browser. So we're talking all creds. We don't know what might have possibly been leaked out. So in order to sit there and resolve that, we need to make sure that all holes are potentially plugged. We get our 1-day streak. Did I actually get it right? Nice. I have a security report for this one? Oh, Bitdefender is always a bit anxious in regards to this one. Webpage you're trying to access contains dangerous URLs and should be skipped. Just take me there. I trust the individuals at Let's Defend. So, okay. So, analysis, quarantine. I wonder if they'll talk onto the point. Samuel, IP address, although the extension is typically created with contentious, take advantage of the opportunity. So yeah, we've seen numerous times where a legit application or extension add-in, plug-in, whatever the case would be. In this case, Chrome extension. It's run by somebody with the best intentions. It does something great, and they get an offer to sell. They sell. It's not announced, and it may get a couple of version updates, everything else like that, and then something bad gets added to it. So I try to keep the number of extensions low. Detect on the device, baseline information, CRX, device action marked as allowed, no actions taken. File hash there. First step is to verify the alert and determine whether false positive or true positive by taking a look at the host logs, which we did. So the browser history has the connection about the open with. User interacted with the extension, visited the various related URLs, yes, which we did end up seeing. So that there was no quarantine. About the command and control aspect. Okay, so they do go through and try to go to the web store aspect like what we did. And then they end up with this. Oh, they found the same thing, Chrome stats. Then it was taken off. But then again, there's really not that much other additional information that's out there. Although I think when I was searching, I ended up finding stuff for hits in response to like Honda cars. I'm like, okay, what does this have to do with anything? Oh, don't they have the CRX variant or model that they whatever. Okay, and then they talk about the domains, about the fact that they get flagged in VT, so that denotes that someone accessed them, that the host should be quarantined. User awareness and caution are critical when installing browser extensions. Yeah. Because I believe you can install extensions without actually having admin access to the box. So what used to be a aspect of control to prevent unwanted software from being installed is having your end users run as standard users, not giving them local admin. But it's different when it comes to the browser space. Software up to date, promptly investigate and respond to suspicious extensions, learn and adapt, remove the malicious extension from the affected systems, isolate the compromised machine, review and update security configurations to enhance, reset affected user accounts, including passwords, and enable two-factor authentication where available. Well, I guess that's the other aspect I should have probably touched on too. But by this particular portion, MFA should be table stakes. And then of course we get the nice little MITRE attack framework, user execution, drive-by compromise, browser extensions. And then, okay. I guess I left out the URL in question. Although they did not nearly go in depth in regards to the IP addresses. But I was looking at the DNS request and results as opposed to what was actually in the logs. So I think that would have been the better way to go through, or did actually have done it, but regardless. And then does it remember? Yes, it does. Okay. I should probably go back and do that to most of the other ones that I've gone through and done. But so there we go. That has been SOC 202 Fake GPT Malicious Chrome Extension. for May 29th, 2023, 1:01 p.m. Event ID 153. Type data leakage. Hopefully you've gone through and had some experience with playing with extensions, especially if you want to be SOC analyst, because Lord knows you'll probably see a number of detections depending on the organization. So it's always one of those aspects. And given the fact that you don't need to be local admin on a box in order to go through and install them into your browsers, then okay. But so with all that being said, looks like we'll have to jump over to the IR side to see as to whether or not if there's anything else there. I have got a good deal of work to do in regards to the notes that I've got to sit there and put together for this, and as always, I will add the links to the various detections, assuming I don't get another community strike from Google or YouTube. Sometimes it does not like the links, which I think is something they put it in there like I'm trying to direct people to the actual malicious domain themselves as opposed to like virus totals scan results on it. So, or I don't think it's been a strike. I think it was a warning. But I guess we'll just play it by ear in regards to that. If I've got to take it out, I got to take it out. But so there we go. All that being said, enough waffling. I will see everybody in the next video.